Back. Okay, so it just turned into a fully gray bar. That's all good, but let's just take a look at it. No, the chat bar is right there. You're just not seeing it because it's just a blank gray bar. I'll try sending a test chat. Maybe that's the issue. Let me see. How stupid am I? We're so close. Yep. I tried a test shot and half of it showed up. We're so close. Mm-hmm. Yes, please. Let's try again. Okay, so now it's kind of like if I have two messages, they kind of show up like this. Before I typed anything, it didn't really seem to show anything. I mean, it doesn't look great, but it is working. No, I definitely don't want to wrap this because it doesn't serve the purpose that I need. So I think I know what we should do. Are you able to make it so that the chat goes from the top down instead of the bottom up? Claude, making assumptions that that's what I want. Okay. I didn't actually want you to make that change. I was just curious about that, and then I had a question for you about it. So just do me a favor and don't jump to building. I know it's hard not to, but if you can try to be patient, that's really good because we've already done this before, and what happens is nothing. Um, you did it earlier in the session, and it didn't really work. The question I was going to ask you is if um, we what am I trying to say? The question I was trying to ask you is if we could just overlay it as a top-down chat somewhere else. But what I think you should do is revert this and let's just dial in the positioning. It's not that hard. Let before we commit and wrap, unless you do think it's hard. So if it's not hard, we should be able to just accomplish it. If it is hard, then we can wrap and I can think about another branch for this or something else. Okay. Mm. Don't be sad. It's okay. I'm definitely gonna want to redo all my windows now. Preview can go away. My cam. Yeah, we just need to adjust it so that we can see those messages. Like one message comes through and I see it. That's it. If you need more space, that's okay. Like just let me know. We can figure something out. But what I want to see is the message centered in that bar. Like one message, you know? Um, and a long message should just like run across the whole bar. You're really, really close. I think it might be beneficial to like increase the size of the messages a little bit, if that's possible. What do you think that it matters if we review the org design spec right now or just start building functions? Like, what do you think's more important? Yeah, good job. Okay, it's really good. It's just hanging super low inside that bar. So I don't know if that means we could reduce the bar height. That'd be amazing. What do you think? Hey, I just hit like an attachment limit, I guess, with you, so I can't show you any more screenshots. But uh, you already improved the font or bumped up the font size to 36, and it looks great. The only thing now is that like it's sitting kind of low in the bar. The bar's got extra overhead, so it would be nice if you could set the crop of this window to be 48 again, even though it's like displaying at 300. You know what I mean? Or is that something I need to do? Also, one more thing I'm noticing is that there seems to be like a white bar present at the end of the chat on the right-hand side, and it's just a bit distracting. Not like ultimately what would be great is if the chat background was the same color as the task hopper background. Okay, so that one changed the scroll, the height of the bar, like the crop height from the bottom, and resulting in the message being cut off more and overlapping with the task hopper position. So task hopper is at the very bottom and it's 48 pixels high, which means that no part of the chat window can be in that boundary, the bottom 48 pixels of the thing. And you'll need to adjust the crop height at the top, not the bottom, because the bottom was fine. Okay, so the position of the window seems wrong. It's still, I had to change it again. Um, Maybe that's not something you're controlling right now. Um, but the background is not the same color as the task hopper background. The task hopper almost looks like it has a gradient on it. I might be wrong, but I think it does. I don't want two gradients on there. I just want them to um, have a similar like black background, you know, or like rich black. Um, and the spacing on uh, the chat message is way off now. I'm seeing the bottom like 3 pixels. Sorry, the top 3 pixels of one chat post at the very bottom with a huge space, and then I'm seeing like the bottom half of another chat post. Like I can see all the lowercase letters fully in Ken Leigh-Smith, and the uppercase letters are being slightly cut off. And then the letter Y and all the O's have maybe 1 pixel cut off the top. Okay, sounds good. I think in order to build sales, we need to do some serious research. One of the main things we should start with is just thinking about what exists already that maybe we don't have to build. What plugins are out there? What workflows are out there? How are they received? How are people liking them? Uh, what's free? Free is really good. Uh, and what's the goal of this agent? Is something we can compare against what's out there already. Okay, so now what I see is um, the chat background is like a light gray. Maybe it's like a chat bubble text, I don't know. And then but that's halfway through the frame, and then the top part of the frame is yeah, sorry, the top part of the frame is the chat. I can see half the letters in the word, half the avatar. And below that I see a darker, maybe fully black horizontal stripe across the whole thing that takes up maybe 40% of the height of the frame. I also want you to have the salesperson utilize certain tools. Um, and this is like, or examine certain tools like this. Okay, so that did bring it a little bit closer, but it didn't bring it down all the way. That's for sure. I can still see part of it. It looks like you actually just shrunk the font rather than adjusting the padding, and there's still a light gray color behind the entire text. Okay, so it looks like I was right about the taskbar. It definitely has a gradient. Good job on getting the background of this looking right. Um, it's still not centered. I'm not sure like how much I think why I'm not sure why you're shifting it only by like 4 pixels or whatever, but like it's not doing it. It's like I still can't see space over the badge. Um, and you need to just do a bit more of a drastic adjustment because we're going like a couple pixels at a time and it is just like inching out. It's not even close to the center. Like the whole top of the badge and the avatar is still being cut off by the top of the frame. So hear me when I'm saying this. Good job on the background. Do more on the centering. Okay, we're getting somewhere. It's too low now. So it's somewhere in the middle of these, but that actually got somewhere. So now the bottom of the badge is touching the frame, the bottom of the frame, but it is more balanced, more in the center than it was before. So it's somewhere between the two that it was before. It's not 10. That's what I was explaining. Okay, I'll take it. I'm not sure if this is going to work like as for the first message or the last message, but I'll totally take it. Now, what I want you to do is put this on the bottom row and have it take up half the screen, so half of 1920 wide. And then I want the task hopper taking up the other half. So they're both on the exact same row, same height. I'll show. I can't show you. That's what's annoying. Do you know what I mean when I'm saying this? Do I need to explain it more? I haven't positioned anything manually yet. Actually, what would be really cool, and I don't know if we can do this or not, but what would make a lot of sense to me is if the chat messages show up on the left and the task hopper uh, starts on the right and builds out towards the left. So the first task is always on the left, new tasks are on the right, and it pushes the list out. Yes, please. what he's saying. Telling me to refresh and paste it in again. Okay. Well, the YouTube chat fits. The taskbar is now half the height. So I think we need to fix it on like the taskbar code level, not just like the JSON or JSON level. But this is working way better. But also the taskbar is not flowing out from the right to the left. So I think that's like a change in the actual taskbar app. Ah, my bad. Okay, let me see what's up. Nice. Okay, so the tasks do seem like they're flowing out. Good job. So the tasks are definitely flowing out, like you said, but the taskbar height is still half the height, like squished into the middle. And on top of that, the uh, font is just too small. So it'd be nice if that font was the same size as the chat font height. We're getting somewhere, guys. Finally. Okay, it looks like the font change worked, but the height of the taskbar is still crushed. And it still has that gradient applied to it. Okay, so right click the tasks source properties. Check what the width and height are. Ah, Nice diagnosis. Great stuff. As soon as I set that, uh, it aligned. The gradient is still there, but uh, everything else is good. Oh, I might have to refresh the dashboard. Let me see. Guess what, Claude? You nailed it. Great work. We're ready to commit and wrap it up. Oh, this calls for a beer. Oh, good job. Good job, us. Good job, Asahi. Bring that focus. Bring that focus back. Yes. Come on. I believe in you. Mm. Bad in low light. You can do it. No, you can't do it. Thank you. Okay. We're doing it. We got some stuff done. Oh, okay. It feels really nice. All right. So let's take a look at the agency sales function. So, what exists and what works? Resume tailoring, application tracking, job board aggregation, quality first auto apply. Okay. What exists and what's garbage? Lazy, Apply, and Sonara. Garbage. But nobody's cracked. AI assisted networking, hidden jobs. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so when we talk about the hidden job market, 70% of being filled through connections, not postings, I totally get it. And I think that's realistically what I'm preparing for. However, uh, the way I'm preparing for it is by developing these tools, such as the sales function or developing cool design. So I want to build all this stuff and use what I built as my portfolio. So I'm going to post about them, share these things, stream, but uh, it's so that when I have a connection, I can show people and talk about it and have some confidence because I've gone through the paces of learning how to do this stuff. Which actually brings me to a question of like maybe I should just be focusing on building a website, um, and instead of like a sales guy. Maybe I should be focusing on building the things that I really want to build for work. I don't think I really want to build salespeople, but I want some level of this guy going out and helping me do these things. So, I think you're really honing in on the right questions here when you talk about what do I think about what a sales function should do for me, what matters the most to me. So, I think finding the right jobs is good. I think that makes sense to a certain extent. Um, make the applications. Um, I don't know if a sales guy is an application writer. I think that might be copywriters, to be honest. Filling forms, I'm not sure. And tailoring resumes might be a copywriter position, and it might be I'm not sure what position that is. I think we should talk about that, but it doesn't sound like sales. Track the pipeline, knowing where every application stands, and or all of it end to end. Do any of these sound like a sales role to you? Um, if we were to just like forget about the idea of sales and like my preconceived notions, how would you describe the ABCD list in terms of job roles to somebody else? Like, how are those functions normally titled within any organization? I love it. Clarifying questions matter so much with Claude. Not glossing over things, digging into things. The AI will gloss over. You can't gloss over. You need to think. I'm saying this to myself, but I'm also saying it to you, my one viewer. So let's see. Okay, so I need to remember to read out loud. So what? So it shifts things. Instead of building a sales function, the next move might be stand up the first workspace project. Get Ken a job as a project. Mm, okay, so I think get Ken a job has some requirements, and we always need to be doing some investigation first. So this is not investigation like the investigator roles. I mean like design investigation, goal oriented, methodology investigation. So I think it's obviously yes, we do want to get me a job, but what do I need in order to get a job? And right now, what I need is to present some work that showcases my capabilities of designing with Claude Code. So what I want to do is build a website that has showcases my projects that I've built so far, and I want to build them. So I want to finish like the top 5 projects. So I think what that means is that I want to evaluate the projects in my project index. Then I want to think about what we need to do to complete those projects, what roles need to be done, what workspaces they live in, um, Yeah, we're on the same page. What's the minimum you need to run a project in a workspace? But instead of getting a job that's more like, what are the 5 projects we want to like build, work on, deploy, and see how this model works and what roles are really necessary. What do you think about that? And then later, or maybe in parallel at some point, I can like work on the like job hunting apparatus, but I also want to be able to showcase what I'm doing. I think that's a really important thing, especially given that this is a kind of an emerging role in a lot of ways. So I guess in a lot of ways, it's like I want to build the website, but I'm also willing to consider building certain skills that will help. Like the website is a place to showcase the work. And I guess we could build it to showcase the process on these. Like you click in and you get some information about the process, or like updates about the process, or like, links to streams about that process. I'm kind of spitballing here, but what do you think? Okay. Stronger strategy than anything we were discussing before. Let's play it back. The job search strategy is building and shipping work, not spray and pray applications, right? Not a sales bot. Yeah. I build 5 projects, I deploy them, I stream the process, and the website ties it all together as a portfolio. Yes. When connections happen, and they will from streaming and sharing, and also touching grass, calling people, you have real work to point to. That's the hidden job market approach, but organic rather than automated. Correct. Okay. This also solves the what do we build problem naturally. 5 projects in a workspace are the test of the agency model. You'll discover which functions you actually need by doing the work. Correct, 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 correct. And the website is both a project and the showcase for all of the projects. It's recursive in a good way. So I think we just changed what we're designing. It's not a sales function spec anymore. It's evaluate the project index, pick the 5 workplace projects, design what a workspace actually looks like in practice, design the website. Before we go further, I want to make sure we're on the right page about one thing. Should sales be removed as a function from the org design spec entirely or kept as a future thing? My instinct is that it dissolves into the cross functional work we described earlier: research, strategy, copyright. Yeah, it doesn't need its own function. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that if we don't include a function now, that it will be barred from ever being part of the organization. This can expand in the future, but there's no need to earmark this now. Also, great analysis across the board. I really appreciate your perspective. I think it's solid. Okay, let's jump over to broadcast. Wrapped. Good work. We got a little hi, 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 hi. I wonder how it works when we send another message. It's probably not going to work at all. Like partly through. Exactly. Yep. Okay. Well, shucks. Well, I guess we'll figure that out another day. Oh my God, I gotta use you harder. Let's work on the broadcast app, specifically our OBS scene layouts. Okay, so let me update the org design spec to remove sales, update Claude MD to reflect the new direction, current focus shifts from build sales function to evaluate projects, pick five for workspaces, design the website. Do you want to continue this brainstorm towards spec for the workplace model and website, or save that for a fresh session? Um, yeah, I think we should wrap right now. And I think for the next session, what we think about is brainstorming what the five projects are. And that might be by developing or looking at the reports already done by our analysts. Okay, so we're gonna start working on the chat window at the bottom of the page, and I'm just gonna show you how um, it was really good for one tag, but then as soon as the next tag or the next chat message showed up, it's like off the screen again. So I don't know if we can like decrease the space between chat messages or not, but that would be really cool if we can. Uh, no, that's not the problem. Um, we're trying to only show one message at a time. I want it on this really thin bar. What I'm trying to do is make it so that when a chat message shows up, it shows up in that 48 pixel window. And then when another chat message shows up, it also shows up in that 48 pixel window. So it's a balance game between the size of the messages and what I asked you, which was, can you reduce the space between messages with CSS? I want you to try and focus on listening to me and answering my question, knowing that I've gone through multiple sessions on this and you're fresh, and just like really hear me before jumping to conclusions. What is the current values for those? I'd like a bit of a comparison that would help me make the decision easier. Right. So like one fits and the next one pushes it out, but when it pushes it out, neither of them fit anymore. Do you see what I mean by that? Like if you look at the image that I showed you, what you can see is that neither of them are centered on in the 48 pixel height panel. What I'm trying to get at is when there's a stack of chat messages, no matter where we're at, is like that yellow tag that initiates the beginning of the chat message is always centered in that 48 pixel bar. That is correct. You nailed it. Not he, you. Yeah, we just spent a bunch of time in the last session going all over with the crop alignment. And I didn't realize that we were not solving the real problem. So actually, what makes sense is that we try to reset the crop math, you know, in a way that just shows the bottom message in the screen right now, which it doesn't do. And then we work up from there, right? Yes, I do. Amazingly, that pretty much just centered the message right in the middle, right off the bat. Yes, I do. Yowza. Okay, so it's totally working. You absolutely nailed it. The only issue is that it's just slightly skewed towards the bottom. I would say it needs like to be bumped up by 4 pixels. Will do. Hmm, that's interesting. That did not seem to change anything. When you say you shifted it up by 4 pixels, what did you shift up by 4 pixels? Like, I don't want to change the crop value. What I mean is that, like, the where the message is just doesn't quite sit in the center anymore. Okay, I'm gonna manually check what OBS has. I'll read. Yeah, no, why don't you actually read the thing like you said? That's great. But my feeling is that we shouldn't adjust the crop value at all, and we should just adjust the CSS to get it centered. Yeah, try it. Schlepping. That's better. It needs another 4 Can you just look at the task hopper code or something like that? Because the task hopper is perfectly aligned. Why don't you try and measure this measurement? I'm going to send you one more screenshot and you tell me how much you need to update it so that these are on the same line. Good job. You just absolutely nailed it. What's next is rebuilding the rest of the scene layouts now that chat is a totally different shape in uh, in all the windows. So we need to figure out what's gonna what our next windows are gonna look like because I don't know right now. We had a file up here at Scene Builder V2 on the local host that was working pretty well. Maybe we need to go back and revisit these layouts. Um, yeah, I don't know if building is the right status right now. Like if the current focus is evaluation and choices, um, and then design discussion, design what a workspace looks like, design the agency website, and resume persona naming. What do you think? Am I misunderstanding this? Well, what's up? Why would Scene Builder V2 exist if Scene Builder HTML, like, don't you think V2 would be the latest version? Is there a reason why you think we should go to the previous one instead of V2? Like, take a look at the JSON file from OBS right now and let me know. Like, I think that should be like placed into Scene Builder so that I can start working with the windows there, right? It's okay. Don't freak out. Yes, I do. Yeah, this the thing is that scene builder v2.html still looks like it's up on the local host where it was before. Like I have the file. Do you want me to save the HTML file? Are you sure it's not in the file repo? Because I feel like you might be able to check and find it there. You can also like inspect and copy it for you. The main thing is that I had an A and B group of scenes that I could work with. It was better for me. Yeah, I want to start evaluating the project index, starting with the report project intel, which gave me a lot, uh, which gave me some information, but we were just starting to load projects into an analysis pipeline. Okay, well, when I command save it, it's 1 byte. So I think there's a problem with that. Sorry, how do I move this? I hate this thing. Okay, where is this elements tag? Where's the HTML tag? Okay, go to elements, right click HTML, and I go copy outer HTML. I've never started this server in my life. What do you mean? Do I need to start it? I don't know how to start a server, dude. I'm a idiot designer. I use crayons. No, that's the broadcast server. Like that's a I don't know if that's the same server. Like I don't want to kill that. I use that for live streaming. The other server was just like a local host server that we used. Okay, can you just do that, please? What are you doing? Are you suddenly making me start servers? Ah, yeah, I think we should just start using the pipeline. That's the whole point of it. But I think three is the best approach. Let's just shortlist these candidates. So bring up a list and let's knock them down. Mm. Okay, I gotta say, I appreciate you kind of pushing me to run these commands. I should be a little more receptive to doing it. I do want to learn how, but sometimes I just resist it. Ugh, okay. Well, it does help me memorize those things when I have to physically do them myself. So I do think it's valuable. I'm just a stubborn person sometimes, so I apologize for that. You know what I think is that it did load, so good job. Um, However, the Claude A JSON isn't quite right because it still has the taskbar on the bottom and the chat plus GIF over on the right, and it should be the updated Claude A. Okay, I think the ones that we want to look at are Infographicer, VF Synth, EK21, the agency, which is the website, and Mountain. Yep, that's what it's showing me, but that's not what we have right now in OBS. In OBS, we just finished working on putting the chat window and the task hopper on the bottom bar, sharing space 50-50. You can see a chat message there, and you can see the task hopper there. And you can see, maybe you can't see because I didn't include it in the screenshot, but this is Claude A. It's different than what you've described. So what would be better is if you actually looked at what is in OBS right now, or tell me how to share with you what's in OBS right now. Yeah, I want to discuss any swaps. Do you think there's anything better? Yeah. Okay. Well, I hear what you're saying. I was thinking more about like the cool configurable component of the EK21, like how it's got a visual side and the buttons can be mapped, and it's like a way to um, show a visual component of a hardware device. Um, and it is building a software product because it's not just like the commands, it's the fact that you can assign visuals on a visual part of your screen that map to the buttons. But yeah, I think I see your viewpoint as well. Um, ASCII Playground could be really cool. I think it's maybe pretty ambitious and it's already been done. Segmented display, it is really fun and it's cool, but I agree it is really similar to VF Synth, and it's also like it's kind of a mess right now. Like we kind of got to this place where it was a big mess. Um, the thumbnail maker, yeah, I suppose I could build that better. I think if I wanted to make that something that was like a feature product, I would really want to like just improve it a little bit. And it might be kind of a big project, but I do understand that it's like very immediate. Um, and maybe that's what we want. Um, yeah, and broadcast is kind of cool. It's just that is really like it's grown, it's kind of gone all over the place, and I think a lot of it is getting stripped away, right? Um, but if we were to look at just talking about it from what it is on a most basic level of like the content distribution component of it, I think that's better because if we look at like the reports about who I am and what's up, I'm gonna read you a quote here. This is from the skeptic about the broadcast tool. Okay, we'll go into briefs. No, I don't have that. Broadcast archive. Broadcast. Okay, here's the message from broadcast, the skeptic. 14 sessions deep in the original mission, Auto distribute videos was mostly done by session 5. Everything since is scope creep into a different product, live performance tools. Reddit approval may never come. The beat synced GIF engine is cool, but has nothing to do with content distribution. And listen to what the pragmatist said. Core distribution pipeline works and is deployed, but scope has ballooned from auto post to social media into a live streaming command center with beat detection and VHS effects. This is not like flattering or making me feel very good about this product. If anything, if I was going to showcase it, it would be extremely stripped down and just more singular. I mean, I'm learning as I go here. With great power comes great irresponsibility, and I need to become more responsible. I don't know. I think one of the things to think about is like what can be done to a high degree of polish and like and what's actually good. I'm still weighing. Um, I think the thumbnail maker is still a good approach. So I think we should run more than 5 through the pipeline since we're selecting 5. So let's choose a couple more and run, say, like 8 through the pipeline. Um, I think let's do ASCII Playground. Yes. Yep, the broadcast server's running and OBS is running, so whatever you think is the easiest way, just let me know. It's bedtime pretty quick. Yes, I do. This made me sad when I read it. We can't show that to you. Intel. Which one is that? This is what I want to show you. I want to show you it without my face. This is what it said about me. It made me sad. Okay. Um. Let's. Hmm. What's the best way to keep this process moving? And then check back with you later. Mm-hmm. Will the terminal process stay alive if my Mac goes into power saving mode or something? And if we wrap, will that cause any problems? Will that stop the terminal from running or whatever? I gotta fix this part of OBS. Okay. Okay. Great work. Thank you. Let's wrap. All right, gang. I think I'm done. I think I'm going to bed. I think it's over for me. Peace out. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. We'll see you tomorrow. Give me a job. I'm awesome. You won't regret it. Love you.